very careful about what you do with emails you receive. You receive an email from the widow of a deceased Nigerian king needing your personal assistance moving $10 million from one account to another, and you will receive $1 million for payment for that assistance. Let me ask you this question. Do you personally know any widows of deceased Nigerian kings? That's why spam works, because people reply to it. And you know, if you need a little bit of pharmacological assistance for your evenings, go see your doctor. Don't respond to something that you got in an unsolicited commercial email message. No legitimate bank would actually send you an email telling you to update your account information. That right there should be red flag number one. Second one, you might see a URL in the email. Don't click it, just point your mouse to it. Because your mouse will then show either in the status bar of the email program or a little box right underneath the cursor what the real URL is, which is sometimes very, very different than the one that's displayed. That's where you'll actually be going. And if it's not what's displayed, this is another sign of a false email message. If you get an email from someone that says, run this attachment to update your account information, this will cause a program to run invisibly on your machine that will then empty your bank account, even though you've logged on to the real bank, not the fake website that the attacker set up. It's very, very easy for bad guys to create websites that look almost exactly like the website that you really want to try to go to. So, you know, nobody ever does, but there's a very simple thing that you can do to validate that you're actually at your bank's website. In most browsers, when you go to the website and when you want to log in the lower right corner, there's a yellow lock. If you're not sure about where you're going to, double click on the lock and it will show you something called a digital certificate, which can attempt to authenticate more strongly that this really is the website that you think you're going to go to. The first and most important is that you run personal firewall software. Now, almost all operating systems actually include a firewall as one of the features. So Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, versions of Linux, and even Macintosh operating systems now all have personal firewalls. Use these. Fortunately, they are now enabled by default. So in most instances, you probably already are using them and you might not be aware of it. For example, in Windows, if you open the control panel and then go to the security center, it will tell you the state of your machine, the security state of your machine. And one of the things it will let you know is whether the firewall is switched on or not. If it isn't on, turn it on. The second thing to do is to make sure that you keep your computer up to date. We would love to believe that software is perfect, but unfortunately isn't. It's written by human beings. Human beings aren't perfect. Mistakes creep into software. If something wants to update itself, let it update itself, because that means that a vulnerability was found that a bad guy might be able to exploit and take over your machine. The third critical thing is to use software that can help detect when someone is trying to attack you. So this is commonly called anti-malware or antivirus and anti-spyware. You might think that if, I'm running Macintosh or Linux and I don't need anti-malware. That's not true anymore. The bad guys are even targeting these operating systems now also. So make sure that you run anti-malware software. Where before they wanted to break into your network, and then they wanted to steal your data, now they're going to want to maliciously modify your data. Think about this. Somebody breaks into your network, and instead of stealing your data, they make subtle changes to the information that you have. And then, at a later date, you make business decisions based on that incorrect data. You will soon see the development of technology that allows you to protect your information so that you can detect if someone has altered it. The mechanism is called a digital signature, and it will let you know if the information has become corrupted in some way so that you will then know not to make a decision based on this now invalid information. The bad guys are constantly changing their tactics, and we need to be always vigilant about looking out for these.